What is a budget?
A budget is like how much money you have to spend.
It's like how much money you have, I think. No, that's allowance.
A budget, like an amount of money you can spend.
Like something, the amount of money that you have to spend.
Like an allowance, like how much money like you're allowed to spend.
Like a maximum amount of money that you try to spend. Like if you try to spend $500, you try to get that budget and try to you try not to go over the budget.
I'll give you my best guess.
Okay.
A budget is, let's say if I had $50 and I was going to spend them at Target, I would select a budget of one fourth of that, which would be the money I'm going to spend.
Okay.
It's a amount of money you can spend or business can spend.
Is it like you can't spend too much money on one thing?
It's like a plan for how to spend the money you have.
Yeah.
Do you know what it means to balance a budget?
By either spending the equal amount to the budget or under the budget.
Keep it in check, basically. Like, don't go over and stuff.
To like be smart about what you do to not go over the budget.
Like not like go over how much money you're allowed to spend.
Keep it at probably exactly $50. It's to spend money on things equally.
Do you know what it means to balance a budget?
No.
How much money do you think it takes to run the school district each year?
Like 4 million.
I don't know. $8 million.
I don't know, $100,000?
I would guess around the $5 million.
Well, the whole school is pretty much a huge mansion. So that'd be a few million, I bet. So like 5 million. I don't know.
What's your guess?
$5,000.
Like at least like 500.
Yeah, that one's hard. There's two extremely big buildings, and you mean for the principal? But all the electricity used,
Just take a guess.
$400,000.
I don't know, 25,000?
30,000.
Oh wow.
A lot.
A lot.
Maybe.
I would say 900,000.
900,000.
Yeah.
900,000 maybe to $1 million for like all the schools in the district.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd say around 3 billion.
Around 10,000 or 8,000 between those.
The 22-23 operating budget is $18.7 million, and the total budget is $21 million. The budget is balanced. Expected revenues for operations and debt service equal planned expenditures. We are budgeting to spend some capital projects fund balance to start the parking lot and air handler replacement projects. Do you know where the money comes from to run the school district?
Fundraisers and stuff like that, like fundraisers. And Lake Bluff Alliance and PTO, maybe.
They do give us a lot of money. Do you know where the money comes from to run the school district?
The people that pay to go to the school.
it comes from, I think it's from the parliament. They print them out.
Do you know where the money comes from?
Where?
Do you have a guess?
Like, no.
Not sure. From like when kids are like go to school, like their parents pay like money.
Do you know where the money comes from?
No.
Do you have a guess?
No.
Where do you think the money comes from?
On the board.
Like parents and stuff, I guess, that like pay for like stuff at school.
Taxes and donations, I think.
I mean, parents are paying the school to let the kids study in here, so maybe about.
You guys get boatloads of money from, one, us paying for the curriculum, and two, taxpayer dollars.
90% of district revenue comes from property taxes, with another 5% from other local sources, including corporate taxes, student fees, and food service revenue. State evidence-based funding comprises 3% of revenue, and federal funding through the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, Every Student Succeeds Act, and the American Rescue Plan account for only 2% of revenue. Revenue is budgeted to be flat versus last year. The increase in property taxes and earnings on investments is offset by a reduction in corporate taxes, COVID-related technology funding, and student fee income. What kinds of things do we spend the money on?
Electricity, you guys got multiple subscriptions from Discovery Plus. I'm pretty sure you pay for CPM, computers, electricity and water bills. That's and employment.
School supplies, probably. Probably the desk, some of them. Probably the desks and chairs.
What do you think we spend the most money on? What costs the most?
You know what? I'm gonna say maintenance.
Water bills, probably.
What kinds of things do we spend the money on?
Like bills, like electricity and like the chairs and like desks.
School supplies, notebooks. This school is really big and also has a bunch of stuff in the cafeteria, probably.
Yeah, like the electricity bills and then the water bills.
School supplies? Yeah, probably school supplies.
Well, on electricity, on computers, on paying the teachers, of course, on food too, since hot lunch, and they also use it to for the bathrooms and stuff, like all modern technology.
Repairing stuff like broken pipes, painting, paying teachers, school supplies.
Like upgrading the classrooms and hiring new teachers and like also hot lunch and stuff.
Classrooms, chairs, tables, bathrooms,
What else do you think?
computers, classroom supplies, maybe the stuff for the playground, like the playground equipment.
What kinds of things do we spend the money on?
School supplies.
What do you think we spend the most money on?
Like paying teachers.
The district spends less than 0.5% of its annual budget on school supplies. It spends the most money, a full 2/3 of its budget and 3/4 of its operating budget, excluding debt service, on paying teachers and other staff. The next largest expenditure category is purchase services, such as transportation, night custodial, and food service, which are also largely personnel-related costs. Salaries are increasing by almost 7% due to adjustments made to stay competitive in a period of high wage inflation, additional tech staffing, and moving from 10 to 12-month assistant principals. Benefits are increasing at a slightly lower rate due to a very favorable health insurance renewal. The increase in purchase services is driven by the large increase in the price of transportation, and the reduction in supplies is due to a COVID-related technology purchase made in the prior year.
Do you know what debt is?
Yeah, it's the money that you owe somebody.
How much debt do you think the school district has?
A lot.
Do you know what debt is?
Yeah, it's where you owe someone money.
How much debt do you think the school district has?
17 million. It adds up really quick.
At the beginning of the fiscal year, the district has $15.6 million in outstanding debt. Debt service payments remain steady at $2.25 million a year through fiscal year 2029. Starting in 2030, the only remaining debt payments will be the $450,000 payment each year for the 2015 bonds issued to renovate Lake Bluff Middle School.
What about a savings account? Do you know what a savings account is?
Isn't it like money you put it into account and you wait a few years so the money's worth more because of interest?
Mm-hmm. How much money do you think the district has in its savings account at the end of the year?
$8 million.
The projected ending operating fund balance for the district is $8.7 million. At 47% of operating expenditures, it is at the upper end of the range set by board policy. However, it contains funds anticipated to be used for a large furniture purchase and several upcoming capital projects. The fiscal year 22 ending cash and investment balance is $18 million. This includes the June property tax receipts, which are deferred and recorded as revenue for the following fiscal year.
If you were in charge, what would you spend the money on?
The teachers, and then I would also add a soft serve machine.
It takes $21 million to run the school district each year.
Wow. $21 million.
And it actually takes $21 million to run the school every year.
Wow. That's a lot of money.
Mm-hmm. It takes $21 million to run the school district every year. And we get the money from taxes. You know what taxes are?
Oh, yeah, it because it's a school, yeah.
It actually takes $21 million to run the school district for the year.
Wow.
It actually costs $21 million to run the school district each year.
Oh, wow.
And we spend the most money on teachers, paying teachers.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
There's a lot of teachers.
Good guess. You're a little off. It actually takes $21 million to run the school district every year.
Yes.
And we spend the most money paying teachers.
Oh, that makes sense.
Oh, that makes sense.
It costs $21 million to run the school for a year. So
Does that surprise you?
Yep.
seems lower than your guess, but higher than your guess. And we spend the most money on staff, teachers.
Oh yeah.
It takes $21 million to run the school district every year.
So I was off by like 20
$20,900,000. And we spend the most money on teachers. So you're right. Good job. Do you have any questions for me?
Yes. My one question is like what do you do? Because when you're doing money with math and stuff like that, like there are different things you could do. Like you could be the treasurer, you could like balance the money, you could be in charge of like figuring out what the money should do. So
I do all those things.
you do?
Yeah. So it's a fun job.
Yeah.
If you stay in school and keep working hard at math, you could do that too.
For the administration.
Unless there's questions.
Okay, so this is the opportunity for the public to comment on the 2022-2023 budget. We do have a lot of people in the room, I think, for another purpose, or series of purposes. However, if there's anybody that would like to comment on the budget, now would be your time to do so. You can raise your hand or you can approach the podium. Not seeing any, great. Any written, Amy?
No written.
Great. Comments from the board? Quick comments from the board? No?
We're going to need the budget like that every year.
In case he has a comment.
Okay, great. Excellent. Yeah, you set the bar high, Jay. Great.
That was awesome.
So we will approve this later this evening, but in the meantime, thank you very much, Mr. Khan, and students who were in the presentation. So with that, may I have a motion to adjourn the September 27th, 2022 budget hearing meeting at 7:17 p.m.
So moved.
Second.
Great, let's do a roll call.
Lauren Hirsch?
Yes.
Carrie Steinbach, yes. Tim Penich?
Yes.
Amy Connell Donahue?
Yes.
Andy Duran?
Yes.
Ann Hill?
Yes.
Mark Berry?
Okay, the budget hearing is adjourned, so we'll move right into the regular meeting. Unfortunately, bear with me as we do have a protocol we have to follow here. So again, welcome to the Lake Bluff School District 65 Board of Education regular meeting for Tuesday, September 27, 2022. I'd like to call this meeting to order at 7:17 p.m. Carrie, may we have another roll call, please?
Sure. Carrie Steinbach here. Tim Penich?
Here.
Amy Connell Donahue?
Here.
Andy Duran?
Here.
Ann Hill?
Here.
Mark Berry? And Lauren Hirsch?
Here.
Okay, we're all here. We can begin this with the pledge. Please join us and stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. That was also the most robust pledge we've had in a very long time. So we've added a piece to our agenda, starting with the last board meeting we had, where we would like to read, just as a reminder to all of us, the mission, vision, and values for our school district at each meeting. So Lauren, you're on for tonight.
All right. The District 65 mission statement is to provide each student with quality instruction, learning opportunities, and educational environments that inspire academic achievement, personal growth, and responsible citizenship. And our vision is excellence in education, enthusiasm for life, every student, every day.
Awesome, thank you. Now we'll move on to item 6, which is the public comments period. This is where we offer opportunity at every board meeting 2 times in each meeting to publicly address the board. So if anybody would like to speak to address the board tonight outside of something that's already on the agenda, you can now approach the podium and do so. If you're here all night, we got another opportunity later. So, Izzy? Okay. Great, and nothing on written or Zoom. Okay.
No comments.
Great. Item 7 is the addition of a discussion item. Again, at each board meeting, we offer the opportunity for board members to suggest a discussion item for future agendas. We had a couple things that came up at our committee of the whole meeting earlier this month. Is there anything else we'd like to make sure we add to a future agenda tonight? Not hearing any? Great. We'll move on to 8 reports. And our first report tonight is we have some great LBMS students in the room, along with Madam Shostak, for the Unity Club presentation. So please come up to the front.
Bills.
Do you have it on Zoom?
No, it is. It's on Zoom. It's just not up there.
It's on Zoom. It's just...
Hello, good evening. Thank you for having us. My name is Maureen. You did a really nice job with the Polish pronunciation of my name. My name is Maureen Szostak in Polish. I am the sponsor for the Unity Club. along with Angelica Rios. And we just wanted to do a presentation to show you and tell you what we're doing with this group. Last year, I took a class that was called Embracing Multiculturalism in the Classroom through the district, I have to say, and I also took a class, LGBTQ Students, Meeting Students' Academic, Social, and Emotional Needs. The multiculturalism class is the one that really spoke to me. And with the work that the district was doing with Thrive, it made me wonder, what are we doing at the student level? What do the kids think about this? What are the kids' views? So I gathered 4 students together, and I said, you know, I'm thinking of starting a club where you can express your views about acceptance and inclusion.
Recording in progress.
Is this something that you feel we need? And it was a resounding yes. It's something that we don't have here. We want our voices heard. So last year we did sort of an upshoot club, and I had some kids that were interested. And then I put in for our committee to actually have this as an extracurricular. In my view, what I'm looking to do is to create a school climate where differences are valued and we have a positive contribution. It makes to create a vibrant community. We want to understand the narrative and the experiences of our children. And that would be all of our children, regardless of their backgrounds. Opportunities to hear from minority children, and also understanding the realities of today's students in this world and how this all impacts them. Once we started the group, we got a wonderful showing, a very diverse group of children through the grades. We meet 3 times a month, very flexibly. People can come drop in when they want to. It's not a commitment. Angelica, did you want to also say something? I was very lucky that Angelica was hired because, in fact, when I read her resume, it said she wanted to get involved in diversity training in a multicultural club, and I was like, fantastic.
Yeah, so this all came about through the interview process. I'm still answering questions to Mr. Jackson and Mr. Blackburn, and then Maureen brings it up, like, would you be interested? I'm like, I felt it growing up all my life, and I know how it feels living abroad and having to speak a new language, not looking like everyone else in the room, and still feeling like you do have allies. So I jumped on board, and I'm very happy I did, because I have a lot of wonderful new future minds who think the same way.
So before we show the movie that the kids have created, representatives from our group wanted to come and share their thoughts.
Hi everyone. Some of you may know me, but those of you who don't, I'm Sawyer Rice. I'm a 7th grader this year at Lake Bluff Middle School. I'm here to share some thoughts and explain to you the reason I joined the Unity group and the hopes I have for our group. Last year, my 6th grade year, I was in Madame Sostak's advisory. It was very late in the school year, and I had seen something on the whiteboard saying that there's an after-school group meeting to spread the thought of diversity, inclusion, and kindness. After the bell rang that morning, I had asked Madame what this was about. She told me her ideas, and I decided to go to that meeting that was happening later that afternoon. And during that meeting, I met 4 amazing 8th graders who had wanted the same thing that I had wanted out of this, and that thing was unity. Overall, the reason I joined the Unity group was because I could see things happening that some kids don't realize. Some examples: kids being judged for what they wear, getting judged for how they speak or how they look, or the after-school activity they do. Look, whether you're white, black, yellow, purple, or blue, there should always be a spot for you. Let me remind you that our school population is mostly white, so for those who are black, Asian, Mexican, etc., they shouldn't have to feel like they stand out. There is one thing that we all have, whether you like it or not, and that's feelings. We all know what it feels like to be anxious or to feel left out. Well, imagine being someone who may feel that every day, who feels judged by the people around them just because of how they are dressed or how they talk or who they are. Imagine being judged because people don't accept the kind of person that you want to be. Well, I hate to say it, but that is how a lot of people feel. I felt it. My friends have felt it. and I'm sure everyone in this room today has felt that feeling. You don't have to think the same as me, dress the same as me, like the things that I do. All I ask is that you respect who I am and who others are. My goal is to have students and staff to be okay with the idea of diversity, to be accepting of others no matter who or what they are. As it will say in our presentation today, we can be the change that we want to see, just don't give up on me. I know that no matter how hard we try, we will see our change flow throughout the community. Just all we ask is to not give up on us. All of us are learning, but we will learn together. And although we are all different, truly we're the same. So we should forever ask ourselves, why be apart when you can be united? Thank you.
Hello, my name is Blake Susano. I am a 7th grader at Lake Bluff Middle School, and my speech is not quite as lengthy or wonderful as Sawyer's just was, but I just wanted to share a little bit about what we are hoping to achieve with Unity Group. We're hoping to open up the minds of the community to be more accepting to diversity and just to be sure that everyone at our school and in our community feels welcome and accepted and like they have a place, because since we're all so young at the middle school and this is like a really it's a time where like our minds are just being shapen, it's very important that everyone feels that they have a place, and that's just a very important thing for people to have. So
hello, I am Emma Grace Duran. I am a 7th grader at Lake Bluff Middle School, and first of all, I just wanted to thank the members of the board and the members of the community for all of their time and to support our little group here. And the reason why I wanted to join Unity Group is because I just felt like everybody deserves to have a voice and a place, and they deserve to fit in. And yeah, like Sawyer said, it's not good to feel left out. It feels terrible. And I just wanted to, as a student, I wanted to make sure that everybody felt welcome no matter who they are or who they want to be, and that no one is judging anyone else for that. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Lillian Kaplina, and I'm a 7th grader at Lake Bluff Middle School. I decided to join Unity Group because I heard about the inclusivity. I'm sorry. And I've been to many schools over my life, and I've moved around, and I've never quite seen a club like this. And when I heard about it, I thought it was really inspirational and a lovely thing to have a group that includes, represents, shows that we're not all the same. And especially in a community where a lot of times you see people look the same, dress the same, it's nice to have a group that shows different, because in the whole world, everyone doesn't look the same or act the same, talk. We're all different in our own beautiful way.
Hello, my name is Hannah Pazakowski. I'm in 6th grade and I go to Lake Bluff Middle School. I wasn't really prepared for this, but I just want to say that feeling united should not be a privilege, and I feel terrible that sometimes people feel like it is. And you should feel equal and normal around all your peers, or no matter where it is. If it's at school, if it's at home, extracurricular activities, wherever you are, you should feel safe and know that you are not the same as anyone else. And that is a good thing. No one should be the same, because then our world is just bland. And schools should not minimize that. They should maximize it. Thank you.
Just would like everyone in this room to know that these are we did not prepare this with them. They wrote their words, they said what they wanted to say, we just gave them the prompt. That was beautiful.
Was.
Yeah.
Well, Oh, it's the-
We have a
Oh,
movie to
great.
show you, but I don't know if you have questions, comments, or if you'd like us to do this first.
Let's do the video and then we'll
Okay.
do questions. Sounds good.
Do I hit it here?
Can you mute Bill again?
There is sound.
There is sound.
Yeah.
It does not want to come up right now. How do we lose it? We might lose it.
Okay.
Go back. It's just the block. It is blocked. It's being blocked in the back.
Pardon? I'll just play the sound. Yeah.
Okay, great. Perfect.
We can burn bright if we want to, like stars in the night when they're shining through. We can explode just like dynamite to where we don't know. There's no turning back, so raise it high. We can hold one hand up for tomorrow. We can hold one hand up to the stars. We can be the change that we want to see. Just don't give up on me. Yeah. We can be the love, and we'll teach them how. We're pounding on the drum when they say quiet down. We can go wild if we want to. We can run for miles. There's no turning back, so raise it high. We can hold one hand up for tomorrow. We can hold one hand up to the sky. We can be the change that we want to see. Just don't give up on me. We can hold one hand up when we get there. We can hold one hand up for the goal. We can be the change that we want to see. There's no give up in me. Yeah. It'll change your life. It'll change your life. Oh my. It'll change your life. It'll change your life. Oh my. It'll change your life. It'll change your life. Oh my. It'll change your life. It'll change your life. Oh my. It'll change your life. It'll change your life. Oh my. It'll change your life. It'll change your life. Oh
awesome. We have students who are wise beyond their years for sure. So thank
Gives you hope for the future.
Absolutely.
To have students like this and children like this. I mean, so
Comments,
many people
questions?
like I'm afraid for the future, and I'm not with kids like this.
I agree with that. That's amazing. This is really, really important work that you guys are doing. And I'm so impressed and I'm so proud that you're part of our district. Thank you. Please keep it up.
Thank you. Great job.
The maturity, impressive.
Yeah. I think we need to realize that, you know, I wanted to bring this down to the student level. Like, what are students thinking? How are they viewing this? And I was pleasantly, I don't know if surprised is the word, or shocked or impressed by how much they do think about it.
Any others?
We also have, we have some of our unity buttons for the members of the board. This is the symbol that we have created for our group.
Mr. Blackburn, not to put you on the spot, but I've known you a long time, and I can tell the pride on your face right now. So. Well, thank you again, students, for taking time out of your evening to join us, and thank you to your teachers for the work they've done. Dr. Leali, anything you?
No, I am not surprised. We have incredibly impressive kids here, and I'm just really excited to see what they can do. Thank you, Mrs. Sostak, for taking on this challenge.
Thank you.
And you all are welcome to stay for the whole meeting if you'd like. So.
Or not, if you don't want to.
Need homework.
Yeah.
That's right.
Nice job.
Our next piece is also very exciting, just may not be as exciting as the last piece was. So we have an opportunity to meet some of our new staff members in the principal report. So Mrs. Bay, would you like to come up first?
Good evening, everyone. Tonight is incredibly important. I'm so excited that we are able to introduce new staff from across the district. So we were able to bring back our tradition of enjoying dinner all together at the other door. And I think we've even upped our game in terms of including all new hires this school year. So I'm really proud and excited to introduce new members to our LBES staff. So I may just ask if you want to smile and wave to the board. Since we have such a large crew, I'm going to stick with name and role, and if you need fun facts later, I'm sure we can share them with you. So tonight with us we have Megan Jessen, new kindergarten teacher. Adrian Logan, new kindergarten teacher. Allie Romolo, first grade. Ryan Warehane, learning behavior specialist. Dale Miksch, teaching assistant. Thanks, Dale. Mr. Bill Wine, teaching assistant. Gilly London, teaching assistant. Our newest teaching assistant, Margaret White. Not with us this evening, but also proud to be part of the team and excited to start the year. Erin McMorrow, new learning behavior specialist, hired in partnership with True North. And Edith Barrientos, our new front office secretary. So thrilled, excited, and proud. Off to a great start. Their smiles are always there, and really just excited about our LBES staff this year.
Awesome. Thank you, Kelly. Welcome.
And I only have one new teacher to introduce at Lake Bluff Middle School, and she's here doing double duty tonight. So we've already met Angelica, but Angelica Reyes is our new 6th and 7th grade Spanish teacher at the middle school.
Great. Thank you. Welcome.
We have one more. Do you want to introduce?
And I'll introduce Elvin Torres. He's our new newest member of our custodial staff. He came to us from RJB, so he's been with the district for a while, and we're thrilled to have him all full time.
Awesome.
Great.
Welcome, everybody.
Okay.
Okay. Any other report from principals?
Are we moving on to the next piece? No.
Not yet.
Okay. Just would encourage you're welcome to stand up and tomorrow. I let them know they could stay, but also encouraged.
Of course, yeah.
I'm so glad that they're here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, then with that being said, thank you again. We will turn it over to Jay, for if you have anything additional.
This was in your for weekend update, but I just wanted to reiterate what a great job we did on our health, life, safety survey. The inspector was walking around the district and trying really hard to find stuff to ding us on and couldn't, so we did very well. He was very complimentary about our facilities. And also this Friday, I'll be attending a school safety seminar put on by I'm not sure who puts it on, the regional office, I believe. So I'll be looking for new things to bring back for school safety.
Awesome. Great. Thanks, Jay. No report from Director of Student Services tonight, so we'll move on to Dr. Margaret Ryan, Director of Education, Technology, and Innovation. No report either. Great. Then on to me. Mine's really quick. Just say, I think we mentioned this at the last meeting in September, but it is board member recruitment time. So we know we have 3 seats coming up for re-election. One of those will be vacated. And just a couple dates here. September 20th was the first day to circulate nominating papers if you're interested in running. November 28th is the Vote Lake Bluff candidate application deadline. Tuesday, December 6th, there's a town meeting for Village and Library, but the 7th is the town meeting for the school district for any candidates. And the 12th is the first day to file nomination pack in the local election, and it's got to be completed by December 19th. So if any of you are interested in learning about what it means to be on school board or running for school board, you can reach out to any board member, reach out to Dr. Leali. There's a lot of additional information that our district office has. You can reach out to Amy Kotnick as well. But I'm sure any of us would be happy to answer any questions you might have about running or what it means to be a school board member. So thank you. Final thing I'll mention is a couple weeks ago, there was an article erroneously published in the Lake County Gazette about an action our board took, and they misinterpreted our action. And we heard a lot about it from the community, so I do want to say that was officially retracted. If you didn't see that, it was retracted, it was corrected. And I just do want to encourage all of our residents that if you ever have questions about something that you see that doesn't seem quite right, or that maybe you've seems contrary to what our district has communicated, please feel free to reach out directly. Our administration is very, very accessible and transparent, and would be happy to answer any questions you have, as would our board members. So just want to make sure I remind everybody of that. With that being said, that's it for me. So I'll turn it over to Dr. Leali for your report.
Thank you. First of all, I want to thank you for your patience. I want to apologize for the tech issues we've been having at the village. I'm not exactly sure what's happening, but we will be on it, and we'll make sure that this doesn't happen again. Apologies to the community as well. Very quickly, we have a strategic plan process coming up. We are hoping to start that in January. I've been in touch with 3 firms so far, and we'll be bringing a recommendation. I'll do a comparison of the three firms. Right now, we're looking at Battelle for Kids, who did conduct the Portrait of a Learner project with Lake Forest Districts and us in the spring, as well as CEC and Hazard Young and Natia. So all firms that have done strategic plans in the area, and we're looking for not only a competitive price, but also somebody who can incorporate the Portrait of a Learner, as well as perhaps a community portrait project, as we've been talking about with the village, the library, the park district as well. So that is ongoing, and I'll keep bringing updates as I can.
Great, thank you. Okay, moving right along to, we have 3 items for presentation discussion tonight. The first is school improvement plans, so I'll invite Kelly Bay and Nate Blackmer to come back up.
All right, thank you very much. So Kelly and I are dividing and conquering a little bit. I'm going to cover the school improvement plans for both buildings. Kelly will elaborate a little bit more on the PLC process that's going to be closely tied to that school improvement plan. First of all, our goals in both buildings are the same. We have 3 that I'll review with you tonight. Goal number 1, and by the way, they're each tied to our strategic plan, so I'll highlight the area in which they're tied to our strategic plan. First of our goals is all students in grades K through 8 will meet or exceed their target growth on NWEA MAP reading and math assessments. That ties to the strategic plan when we talk about our strategic plan first goal, which is that all students will experience a high quality educational program that allows them to grow and achieve. A few of the just action items that have already begun, and I wanted to highlight those. There's a lot more to it, but these are some of the big ones. In both buildings, we formed a guiding coalition that will participate in training and begin planning the PLC framework, which you'll hear more about in a minute from Kelly. Team meetings will focus on student learning in addition to school operations. We're committing to those twice-a-week team meetings to be the bulk of those conversations around teaching and learning. Teams have begun their goal setting with students, small goals initially, but we're working with our students to set goals around achievement specific to MAP. And we are also working at LBMS to train our staff with some revisions to our XBLOT formatting, as well as some of the advisory structure, which I'll talk about in a minute. Our second goal in both buildings is to support the whole child through a guaranteed and viable social-emotional learning curriculum and school-wide systems of support. And, those are being done in both buildings through a little bit different avenue, foundations being more heavily focused in the elementary school and capturing kids' hearts at the middle school. This first goal is tied to our strategic plan goal number 2. All students will receive a well-rounded curricular program that allows them to develop their interests. Some of the things that have already begun as far as support of those goals, teachers will work with teams to organize and update and communicate the SEL, that's social emotional learning curriculum. Teachers will be retrained on capturing kids' hearts. In the middle school, teachers will develop classroom norms in line with capturing kids' hearts. The PEP committee and the Bluffer Basics team will share structures for school-wide procedures. As we've returned from COVID-type learning, we definitely are finding the need for reinforcement of just day-to-day processes and procedures. So that's something we've been working on since the beginning of the year. Teachers will also teach and reinforce those school-wide behavior expectations. And our third and final goal, improve communication through enhanced clarity, quality time, and coaching. That's tied to the fourth strategic plan goal, which is that parents and families in our community understand what is happening within the school communities. In support of that goal, we have administrators that will attend at least one of the 2 team meetings every week. Administrators will communicate the evaluation plans for each staff, particularly our tenured staff that are returning to the regular evaluation cycle. We want to make sure that everyone understands that process. Develop new structures for our large group meetings to focus on student learning and shared dialogue. Streamline communication through grade level weekly updates, as well as the principal's messages that go home every Friday. And finally, identify ways to invite parents and families into the building to promote partnership and transparency. So now, Kelly will elaborate a little more with the PLC process.
All right, while we're pulling up the slideshow, we wanted to take an opportunity to elaborate a little bit on this acronym PLC that you may have been hearing. So professional learning communities are something that we want to give the board a bit of information on tonight, knowing that a lot of what Nate shared is going to be, those goals will be accessed and reached through this professional learning community work. I think it's important, I often use sort of this umbrella term to say like things that go under the umbrella. Through this initiation and start of our PLC journey, the member from Solution Tree that's been helping to lead professional learning has really talked about PLC being the plate. Lots of times in education, we use the acronym like, what are we taking off the plate? Or in life, there's like so many things on my plate. And so he was sort of coaching us to reimagine PLC is really the plate that everything is on, not another item on the plate. And so this journey is going to be a long one. It's a big one, but it's not all brand new information. So a little bit that we think it's important for a board and the community to know is that it's really about collaboration to support student growth and learning. And this work is really structured and organized around 4 core questions. As we launch this to our teams and our staff in the buildings across the district, we really want staff to recognize that the purpose of their collaborative team and the dialogue is to use these 4 questions to guide their team dialogue to improve student learning. So we have a graphic with the 4 questions. What do we want all students to know and be able to do? How will we know if they learn it? How will we respond when some students do not learn? And how will we extend the learning for students who are already proficient? I wanted to give a little glimpse into the timeline that we're starting at LBES. So across September and October, we're planning for November so that we can really carve out time and be thoughtful in our implementation. So on September 14th, we asked teams to gather to define a standard that students will learn during the month of November. And we created a sheet that we don't need to show, but just has some defined standards on it. We think that the work that day helps us to define that first question: what do you want students to know and be able to do? On our early release next month, we are going to have our teams meet again, the professional learning community teams, to determine common assessments to measure student learning on that identified standard. So through that work, we'll determine how will we know if the students learn it. At the follow-up faculty meeting on October 12th and potentially some team meeting time, teams will develop a plan to provide time and support for students who don't learn that standard that has been defined. So how will we respond? And then before October 24th, we want to develop a plan for additional time and support for students who already know it. So how will we extend the learning? So all of this is leading up to a November instructional kind of standard. We know that there are lots of different teams throughout our building that are supporting students in lots of different ways. And just as we would with students, we want to make sure that we're differentiating and we're aware of what work is going to be useful and productive for each staff member and team. So at the elementary school, a large majority of teams have an emphasis on math to be able to live this journey. We're learning by doing. But we didn't want to sort of force things into something that maybe didn't fit. So SLPs are our speech and language pathologists. They're going to be using content area standards, and actually through their work a couple weeks ago decided they might actually align with some grade levels, because we know that there's speech skills that align with math and conversation and dialogue. Our reading specialists are sort of taking this work through a reading lens. Our social workers and school psychs have already initiated work to support students in trauma and are defining standards to support and measure that. And then our specials or related arts are using content area standards or new term singletons. So we know that we have an art teacher at the elementary school that is our solo art teacher, and she would be considered a singleton. So we want to make space for her to find other singleton art teachers so that she has a person, a collaboration, a team, a think partner. At the middle school, as we would imagine, buildings don't need to approach this work the same way. What's important is that we're engaging in the dialogue surrounding the 4 questions. And so their teams are going to align to some different areas that pertain to them or that they're feeling passionate about. And so those topics include supporting multilingual learners, cross-curricular vocabulary and literacy, executive functioning support, social emotional learning that includes self-awareness, decision-making, and personal responsibility, world language and culture, and then growth and achievement in math and literacy. So this list could extend, but those are some big ideas that they're considering so far. Couple of things to note. This work is not driven by the administrators of LB65. It is driven through guiding coalitions, and so these are teams that are formed. There's a guiding coalition team at LBES and one at LBMS. We know that we need to build common understandings and seek to understand. So this team is one that serves as a sounding board. They may be decision makers at times. We are planning on bringing them in later in this school year to be able to present to the school board as well. We also know that time is super important when it comes to the work, and so we're committed to using as much as we can of our early release and faculty meeting time. Would reiterate that not all of this is new. The journey that we're on is not brand new information. A lot of it is already being done, but we are just looking for a structure to be able to guide the work, and we think we found one that's going to be useful for our students and staff. Hopefully that was feeling like a quick summary, and that it resonated with some things that you already know about what's happening in our schools. We're thrilled about the work. I think it's really organized and thoughtful. It's hard as an educator to not complete things at the end of a school year, and I think that will be a challenge in the journey, but staff is feeling ready to dig in and roll up their sleeves. So if there's any questions, I'm happy to address them.
Questions?
All right.
Thank you.
All right, thanks to you both.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate Dr. Leali giving me freedom to head out. We've got a big 3 days for the 7th graders
Yes.
starting.
Yes. Good luck.
Like Lafayette Outdoor Ed, so I've got some packing to do.
Have fun.
Fun.
Good luck.
Best of luck. Thanks, Mr. Blackman.
Don't forget the blowtorch. Don't forget the blowtorch.
All right, thank you. Moving on to item B. Jay, do you have a video for this one? You have a video for this one?
I'm sorry, one video per meeting.
The B is the white parking lot project presentation.
The information was in your packet. We are needing to basically replace the west parking lot at the middle school and possibly the bus loop at the elementary school. And so White is, the contract that is up for approval tonight is White Services in designing the parking lots and helping with the bidding and permitting and everything that goes along with it. We are looking also at flow, so probably hopefully redesigning the flow. Maybe we can move the kids off of the parking lot where they play right now to the sport court and then make use of the whole parking lot. And we're also looking at pavers, which would increase the permeable space for the district. And there may or may not be some grant money available for doing that, but it also has some benefits because it lasts a lot longer and has lower maintenance. So there's a much bigger upfront cost, but over the long term, it's cheaper over the long-term life of the parking lot. So that agreement is for the White work. Included in that agreement is some air handler work as well, but I'm still looking at that, so we're only approving the parking lot portion of it.
Great. And that's the $56,000 portion?
That is the $56,000, correct.
Okay, thank you. We'll have an opportunity for discussion before we vote, but any questions for discussion now?
I think it's great you're looking at permeable pavers. It's exciting for me, but.
Exciting for all of us, Tim.
Yeah, in the budget, the full capital dollar amount was really for both projects, so it is budgeted, but we're only approving the parking lot right now.
Got it. Thank you. Okay, next is actually an intermeeting hearing on the adoption of the e-learning verification program. We do have a resolution, but before I do that, do you want to tee this up?
Sure, yeah, so this is remote learning and COVID. The state of Illinois gave every school district the opportunity to utilize e-learning days, which is actually different than remote learning. E-learning was defined as a day that could be utilized instead of an emergency day off that would not need to be added to the end of the school year's calendar. We have 5 emergency days. We can use up to 5 e-learning days, or we would be able to if we passed a resolution and did some things like hold a hearing and post a notice of the hearing in a newspaper and make sure that we let our collective bargaining units know and our parents know that we're considering this, give the opportunity for public comment, and then the board can issue a resolution to say that we can use e-learning days instead of closing school for emergency weather or other emergencies. Again, this is a different definition than remote learning. This is doesn't need to be structured as remote learning was structured. So if we have the opportunity to utilize these days, we will look at how we would like to structure the online learning for students. Probably will have less synchronous time than we used for remote learning, more opportunities for work to be done independently, and for students to be able to access that work online in the emergency that we close school. As I indicated in my update and in the community letter, our first emergency day, if we need one this year, will be to increase June 7th from a half day to a full day, which means that then it is included as a student attendance day. Right now as a half day, it's not. It's an extra. So we would first make that a full day, then we would utilize 2 e-learning days at that point for the second and third day if we need them, and then if we need a 4th and 5th day, we would take traditional snow days, which would just be closed and off. The reason for doing that is so that we don't get ourselves into a situation where we need to go into the next week of school, which I don't have the date off the top of my head, but that next full week of June. The reason we don't want to do that is we want parents to keep their plans for summer camps and summer vacations, and we also start our summer school program. So we need to make sure that we're fully up and running and ready for that. So in order to do all this, we need to offer the opportunity for community to hear what our plan is, make public comment, and then have the board issue or hopefully adopt a resolution.
And the plan is to do all that right now,
That is
right?
correct.
Great. Do we need a separate public comment on this hearing and at the end?
Just on this, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
There
That's
should
what
be
I
an
thought.
opportunity for public comment right now for the e-learning resolution.
Okay, so before I read the resolution and before we move into our action items for the evening, I don't see anybody in the room that's not district staff. But if there's anybody somewhere listening that would like to make a comment on the board's adoption of e-learning verification program, please make your presence known.
I have a quick question. If we move forward and adopt something like that, are we more inclined to take like a snow day if we were on the fence because we have that option of
Not
e-learning?
necessarily, no. I mean, and it could in this community be also flood, you know, you've had to close for those kinds of things before too. We're really hesitant to call those days. We want kids in school. We want to be able to continue the learning. So as we would normally do, we will communicate with other surrounding districts, communicate with our first responders, make sure to the best of our ability that we call it, if we have to, as early as possible for childcare, but not call it too early so that we're calling it before there's an actual threat. It's kind of a difficult thing, but we would still treat it as we would any other type of
won't change
emergency day. We don't want to take those if we don't need to.
Anybody else? I'm seeing no public comment, nothing on Zoom. Okay, great. Then we'll have an opportunity for discussion to right before the vote. So with no other public comment in the room, we'll close the hearing on this and move on to our action and discussion items. The first one is the approval of the resolution to adopt the e-learning program. So bear with me as I read the resolution in its entirety. This is a resolution to adopt e-learning program in lieu of the district's scheduled emergency days. Whereas the Board of Education of Lake Bluff School District 65 is adopting an e-learning program district-wide that shall permit student instruction to be received electronically while students are not physically present in lieu of the district's scheduled emergency days. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Education of Lake Bluff School District 65 that will employ the e-learning program that may utilize the internet, telephones, text, chat rooms, or other similar means of electronic communication for instruction and interaction between teachers and students that meet the needs of all learners, ensures and verifies that required clock hours of instruction or schoolwork for each student participating in an e-learning day, ensures access from home or other appropriate remote facility for all students participating in the program, including availability of non-electronic materials to students who do not have access to the required technology, ensures appropriate learning opportunities for students with special needs, ensures the monitoring and verification of each student's electronic participation, addresses the extent to which student participation is within the student's control as to the time, pace, and means of learning, provides effective notice to students and their parents or guardians of the particular days for e-learning, provides staff and students with adequate training for e-learning days participation, ensures an opportunity for any collective bargaining negotiations that would be legally required, reviews the program as implemented to address difficulties confronted through revision or otherwise, ensures that the protocol regarding general expectations and responsibilities of the program is communicated to teachers, staff, students, and parents at least 30 days prior to utilization, ensures all teachers and staff who may be involved in the provision of e-learning have access to any and all hardware and software that may be required for the program, will be verified by the Regional Office of Education for the school district to ensure access for all students, and finally will be implemented for a period of 3 years, beginning with 2022-2023 school year, continuing the 23-24 school year, and ending the 24-25 school year prior to renewal. So with that resolution being read and with the understanding of the e-learning program, may I have a motion to approve the resolution to adopt the e-learning program that was just presented and discussed?
So moved.
Second.
So any discussion or final questions before we vote?
Just one quick question. Since this is being approved for 3 years, do you anticipate using a similar format for the next 2 years, or is this kind of just giving us the option for the
It's actually a year-by-year kind of call, how we would plan that out. And we do work with a calendar committee that has staff, teachers and staff on it, as well as our administrative team. And then we kind of talk out what would make the most sense in terms of ordering that. And I anticipate that we would probably always want to use a combination of e-learning days and traditional snow days, because we've heard from our community that we still value kind of the traditional snow days as well. But really for continuity's sake and for summer school especially, because we still offer that, we try to plan it wisely so that we can be set up. But we do work with our teachers, so it might not feel exactly the same every year, just depending on.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question. You know how we have to have a certain number of kids in school to consider it a full school day participation, like it counts for a school day?
It's not based on numbers of students, it's based on number of hours.
So how is it followed up on. Let's just say, you know, like my block was.
Oh, do you mean for emergent e-learning?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, yes. We do need to make sure students participate. So in an e-learning program, the way that this district did it before, and I anticipate we would do it again, it would be work completion. So if the student is able to complete the work that was assigned on the e-learning day within, say, a week,
Oh, yeah,
then
that's right.
they are counted as present at that time. So yeah, if there is interrupted internet, and we do have, you know, all of our students that we know of have internet at home. If they don't, we have opportunities to support them with that. But even if things went down or power went out, there is a grace period, and kids can complete their work and still be marked present for that day.
Great. Any other questions or discussion? Okay, we have a motion and a second. No financials here, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that motion is passed. We'll move on to item B, approval of the 2022-2023 budget. May I have a motion to approve the 2022-2023 budget as presented by administration and district students?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion, final discussion or questions?
Great presentation.
Agreed.
Thank you, Jay.
That was awesome.
That
I'm
was
sure that
awesome.
took a lot of time.
We have to do more.
I
All
heard
right.
we have to do more.
Yeah. Then let's have a roll call for this one, please, Carrie.
Sure. Amy Connell Donahue,
Yes.
Andy Duran,
Yes.
Ann Hill,
Yes.
Mark Berry,
Yes.
Lauren Hirsch.
Yes.
Carrie Steinbach, yes. Tim Pennett.
Yes.
Okay, the motion passes. Item C is the approval of the White Parking Lot Project. So may I have a motion to approve the parking lot project as just presented by administration?
So moved.
Second.
Any final questions or discussion?
So we need to go back. I think.
Okay. Any questions or discussion? No? Okay, so let's have a roll call vote on that one.
Andy Duran,
Yes.
Ann Hill,
Yes.
Mark Berry,
Yes.
Lauren Hirsch.
Yes.
Carrie Steinbach, yes. Tim Pennett.
Yes.
Amy Connell Donahue.
Yes.
Okay, that motion passes. Item D is the Quest contract renewal. This was presented to us at the last meeting and sent to the committee of the whole meeting earlier this month. So may I have a motion to approve the Quest food contract renewal as presented by administration?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion, questions? Okay, can we have a roll call for this too, please?
Ann Hill,
Yes.
Mark Berry,
Yes.
Lauren Hirsch.
Yes.
Carrie Steinbach, yes. Tim Pennett.
Yes.
Amy Connell Donahue.
Yes.
And Andy Duran.
Yes, that carries as well. Next one is item E, the train contract renewal. Again, presented at the last committee of the whole meeting, also part of the board packet. May I have a motion to approve the train contract renewal as presented by administration?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion, questions?
Just a quick question. If we're looking at, and I don't know enough about HVAC systems, but with replacement of the air handling units, would this contract be affected at all by that with those that new equipment, or is that
No, we
completely
probably
different?
would need to update our BAS system, but we would stay with Train because it's what we use in the rest of the district, so
Okay.
they would support it as well.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yep, good question.
Any others? Okay, let's do a roll call, please.
Mark Berry,
Yes.
Lauren Hirsch.
Yes.
Carrie Steinbach, yes. Tim Pennett.
Yes.
Amy Connell Donahue.
Yes.
Andy Duran.
Yes.
Ann Hill.
Yes.
Motion passes. Item F, board approval of EIS, which I believe is Educator Information System report.
Yep.
May I have a motion to approve the EIS report? It's in our packet as presented by administration.
So moved.
Second.
Questions or discussion? Okay, can we have a roll call, please?
Carrie Steinbach, yes. Tim Pennett.
Yes.
Amy Connell Donahue.
Yes.
Andy Duran.
Yes.
Ann Hill.
Yes.
Mark Berry.
Yes.
And Lauren Hirsch.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. Item G, Press Policy 109. May I have a motion to approve Press Policy 109 as previously presented by administration?
So moved.
Second.
Questions or discussion? And just because I'm unclear, let's do a roll call.
Ann Hill.
Yes.
Mark Berry.
Yes.
Lauren Hirsch.
Yes.
Carrie Steinbach, yes. Tim Pennett.
Yes.
Amy Connell Donahue.
Yes.
And Andy Duran.
Yes. Item H, the personnel report. Let me read this in its entirety. It's short this month. We have one non-licensed new hire. This is for Margaret White, the speed position.
Special education teaching assistant.
Got it. Special education teaching assistant in the elementary school building effective September 19th, replacing Susie Thomas at $19 an hour. We have one resignation, Kelly Kapp, a teaching assistant at the elementary school, effective August 28th, 2022 for personal reasons. We have two FMLA requests. First one is Jennifer Stewart, LB, Learning Behavioral Specialist at the middle school, effective 9/26/2022 to January 2nd, 2023. And the second FMLA request is Karina Huddleston, an ELA teacher at the middle school, effective September 19th through October 21st, 2022, and will be teaching remotely. This is an intermittent FMLA, teaching remotely when possible. So may I have a motion to approve the personnel report as presented?
So moved.
Second.
A roll call, please.
Tim Penich?
Yes.
Amy Connell Donahue?
Yes.
Andy Duran?
Yes.
Ann Hill?
Yes.
Mark Berry?
Yes.
Lauren Hirsch?
Yes.
Carrie Steinbach, yes.
Okay, that passes. Final one before I go back to something we just did, consent agenda. The consent agenda this month consists of the following items: the open session meeting minutes for the regular Board of Education meeting on August 23rd, the policy committee meeting on August 26th, and the committee of the whole meeting on September 13th. The special meeting of the Board of Education on gun safety from September 22nd, 2022. I think it's September 12th, 2022, actually. The closed session meeting minutes for August 23rd, and the board governance review session for September 12th, 2022. Also includes the treasurer's report, the impressed report, the bills report, and the P-card report. Would anybody like to have anything pulled out of the consent agenda for further discussion? Great, then may I have a motion to approve the consent agenda for September 27th as presented by administration?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion, questions? Okay, roll call. Carrie, please.
Carrie Steinbach, yes. Tim Penich?
Yes.
Amy Connell Donahue?
Yes.
Andy Duran?
Yes.
Ann Hill?
Yes.
Mark Berry?
Yes.
And Lauren Hirsch?
Yes.
Okay, that passes as well, and because I wasn't paying close enough attention, I incorrectly called for I incorrectly did not call for a roll call vote. The resolution does require a roll call vote. So I'm going to ask.
E-learning resolution.
What's that?
The e-learning
The
resolution.
e-learning resolution, yeah. So I'm going to ask for another motion, a second, and then we'll do a roll call vote for that. So can I have another motion to approve the resolution to adopt the e-learning program as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Great, now let's do a roll call for that.
Tim Penich?
Yes.
Amy Connell Donahue?
Yes.
Andy Duran?
Yes.
Ann Hill?
Yes.
Mark Berry?
Yes.
Lauren Hirsch?
Yes.
And Carrie Steinbach, yes.
Great, that passes as well. I apologize for the oversight. Two more things. FOIA requests, we had none this month, so we'll skip past that. Another opportunity for public comment. Again, nobody in the room. I assume there's nobody, no written? Okay, so no other public comment this evening. So with that, may I have a motion to adjourn the September 27th, 2022 Board of Education meeting at 8:14 p.m.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody.